Steve, how important was that win, after the loss against Munster?
Yeah, I think it's important we backed it up. I probably think our performance wasn't as good as it was against Munster, yet we still got 5 points, which is really pleasing. And obviously you had young Ivan coming off the bench, Gus making his first sort of league start for us, Brian starting for the first time. I think there was a lot of bits and pieces, and around the working week, getting the Welsh boys back Thursday, able to train with us, and the balance of that. And a couple of boys have just gone in off the back of training on team run day as well. So I think all in all, pretty pleased that it wasn't the prettiest of games, but to get 5 points and 4 tries is pleasing.
You seem to have unearthed a new sort of fly off there. Good little fly off.
Yeah, probably see if like him. He does really well for us, and I think his confidence going into the games, his attention to detail, his movement, I think is really pleasing. I thought probably he tried to direct us pretty heavily. I probably could have done with a little bit more support around some of that today, but I think the way he moves, he brings people into the game. I think he attacks the line, got a real confidence about him, but is a real sort of desire to be the best he can be, which is really pleasing. And to go to Zebras, I thought he was really good, and then backing up in a real tricky game today is something that's obviously pleasing for us, and it shows what a real good job the development arm does in this organisation.
A couple of boys worked really hard in your back row. Dan Baker, Tyler Ardron.
Yeah, I think we got plenty of strength and depth there, and having the ability in these sort of windows to have sort of Kingy and Underhill on the bench, I think it tells something about that sort of part of our squad. But we're getting pretty thin. But yeah, you say those boys work hard, and then bringing Kingy and Underhill off the bench is great for us.
With Keelan, how did you feel he handled those conditions and his sort of come back again after injury, 2 games in?
Yeah, I think he's gone along nicely. I think his working week, and again, he's carrying bumps and bruises and working weeks, but I think he handles the conditions. I think he's a smart rugby player. He understands the detail in around our defensive shape, in around attacking shape, and then, like you say, if you give him a one-on-one, and he'll 9 times out of 10 he's going to finish those off you.
Would you suggest, Steve, that he be called up by Wales now, or would you prefer to see him wait until the summer?
That'll depend on Wales, but I think Keelan is, again, getting over an injury, getting back up to speed, and making sure I think he's probably got to come through the Edinburgh game again, and then Wales, like, at the end of the day, they've got choices. They've still got some good wingers up there. They've got some young guys in Ashton Hewitt and Steph Evans in around that. So, like, the good thing is there's some choices there for howlers to make. And Keelan, I think, is someone you've got to manage properly. He's still a young man, and there's a hell of a lot of rugby left for this kid in around his development.
What was the position with Hano?
Yeah, Hano picked up, we didn't realise that he picked up, well, we did realise he picked up a slight bump. He had a bit of swelling on his knee early part of the week. We thought that would disappear, but something we've just had him scanned now. We're waiting for the information to see how we sort of react to a Hano situation.
It's a pretty important win for you, though, and especially in the back of last week's defeat. It puts you back up into the top 2 and a position you can defend rather than be chasing.
Yeah, I think it is. Just through this window, the amount of boys who've gone and returned to play well, sort of sheet at the minute is getting probably up to about 13, 14 long-term injured. The boys away in camp, and I think the boys that have put us in this situation to be up and around it, like you say, last year we were trying to chase back something similar to Glasgow situation. Probably you can't afford to drop many games, and to pick up 11 points from the first 3 games of this period is pretty pleasing for us, and I think it does give us an opportunity, and we want to get into that sort of 70-point mark pretty quickly. We've got 6 games left, and it's something we've got to perform, and we know short turnaround going to Edinburgh, they'll be hurt. Then they lost a couple of games now by a point or 2, and I'm sure they're going to want to finish this block of work off on a victory. They're a big, heavy lot, and it's something that we're going to have to be prepared for, and hopefully if we get a performance, then we can be in a real good position coming out the back of this Six Nations period.
Didn't affect the result and affected both sides. It was strange watching both teams rushing conversions to stop reviews. Where do you think that line should get drawn in terms of, what gets reviewed, who can sort of ask the referee?
Yeah, I think
it was a bit farcical at times today, wasn't it? Both ways, not.
Yeah, I think it is getting farcical in some aspects, but again, I think there's a duty in around our sort of league to stamp some of this out, but I think it's getting, you don't know what's going to happen. There's a lack of consistency. You look at last week, it's makes your league look a laughing stock, and I think there's deeper issues underlying it. I think we're looking into, I think, things. Are they referees? They're always at the forefront of post-match, and then we've got semi-pros, some amateurs refereeing a full professional game, and I think that's something as a league we've got to look into. Is there enough funding to get these professionals that are running a pretty elite game? And I think the majority of talking points is a lot of good rugby being played, and there is a lot of good referees in our league, but I think we've got to help. Like, is it right that we've got semi-pros or someone who's refereeing a game going into work on a Monday and then is forgotten about? Is there enough accountability around that? And I think if that's what we've got to find more funding to put towards it, because I know we're shouting from the rooftops, and again today you look at Keelan, there's another high shot which hasn't been reviewed, and you look back to last week, Tom is asking the question, it's pretty clear and obvious to see, and I think a captain, we don't want people in around our game scrutinising referees, shouting, waving arms and things like that, but if you've got a captain like Tom Aberfield going up to a referee and potentially going, can you have a look at this for 10 seconds, surely in that TMO window, then they should be allowed to raise that question. Like today, it was just, and I think then if we get inconsistent, referees want to move the game on quickly before it's to-in and throw-in, but there's definitely, I think, we've got to look at our game, because I think we've got an amazing product in around the Guinness League, but I think it's something that we have to look at the funding, what is right and how can we make this better, and not just trying to isolate referees, because that's not what it is. You want big decisions like last week, and this could have been a major decision this week, to be not talking about an outcome of a game, and fortunately enough this week it wasn't. Did I answer your question, mate?
Yeah.
In a roundabout way?
No, very good answer. Thank
Okay.
you.
No
Did
problem.
you get an apology off Marius last week after his failure to sort of give you that review?
Look, I think it's pretty frustrating that we probably always the ones as coaches, the ones looking to give feedback, and I think it's got to be a two-way thing. And I think this is where, when you talk about professionalism, it's like when with players, if they make we talk all the time, but I think sometimes, I don't know, again, funding, processes, what this looks like. Is it going back to your day job? Well, I made a mistake, I can move on. But the ramifications of what the league bring and revenues and what is at stake in around these competitions, I think it'd be easy to go and chase after Marius and around things, but ultimately I think there's definitely a bigger picture we've got to sort out here, and I think it'll definitely go back to funding, and we've got to do something about it quickly. And I think it isn't just about upskilling a referee straight away. There may be a long-term pathway around this, but the funding and how we help and educate, and whether it is them coming into seeing how the professional environments work, and then how do we get the next Nigel Owens? How do we get those guys? What is the support networks these guys need around them? So I'm not chasing after apologies, because ultimately, will it do me any good chasing for that or having one? Probably not. It's something that's frustrating, and like you say, you don't want it to take away from the special product that we've got, and I think we're producing some fantastic football, not just as Ospreys, as a league, and it's something we just want to continue to grow. And if that's funding and resourcing and finding ways to be a point of difference, because I think that's the opportunity we could get.
Steve, do you pick up any more injuries?
I got no doubt we will. The way things are going, I think we're pretty exceptional at that, but I think it's the way the boys put their bodies in the line, and again, it's a short turnaround. There's a couple of boys dinged up, they're pretty battered in there, but we've got to find a way, and I think this is what this group is about. We'll find a way. Whoever's starting up in Edinburgh, we've got to produce an Osprey-like performance. It's going to be that last game before, touchwood, some of the cavalry come back, and hopefully when those boys come back, they're in a great position to go and push on in both competitions. So I got no doubt they won't be the boys who are not wearing the jersey on the weekend, be the ones who's wearing it on Friday night, and we have to go up to Edinburgh and bar up and be a little bit smarter than we were today.